CCS Cinema Club podcast.
Hey. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, we've got Jennifer Johnson from Mifflin.
Hi.
We've got Clementine Easton
Hey.
from Whetstone.
What's up?
So excited, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Lots of thoughts to be had.
Lots of thoughts.
Hello? Welcome to Freddy's. Have you met them yet?
Met who?
The Five Nights at Freddy's franchise has reached all kinds of surfaces, books, games, and even movies. Today, we'll be talking about the movie that just came out with awesome cameos and a fun time for all the FNAF lovers out there. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So today's Halloween, which is super
happy
fun.
Halloween.
We're having
spooky season.
Of course. So we have to talk about a scary movie. And if you don't know what FNAF is, it stands for Five Nights at Freddy's. It's FNAF, and it's a video game franchise that is very widely loved by a bunch of kids out
very
there.
Very popular fandom for sure.
Very popular
like,
fandom.
Since we were young.
And we've got a movie just came out, just called Five Nights at Freddy's, and we just watched it together. Super fun. So tell me about your guys' days. I mean, it's Halloween. We got some costumes here. I'm Rowley Jefferson.
I am actually Roderick Heffley.
Hell yeah.
We got some Diary of a Wimpy Kid action going on here, as you
Yes.
can see with my shirt. We're
Super
We're in the
awesome.
Halloween spirit. It's good.
So
it's a good day.
my current costume is Jennifer Johnson. But later
It's really cute. I love it.
I will be Ghostface later, but it only comes out at night.
So the movie obviously is pretty fun. I was pretty excited for it because me personally, I am a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. What about you guys? Did you guys ever play the games as kids?
I didn't really. I was really scared of the games when I was a kid, but they kind of grew on me as I got older. You know what I'm saying? Like when
Yeah.
Markiplier did Security Breach, I watched those. I watched those videos a lot.
I remember when the
Yeah.
first game came out, and I was terrified,
Yeah.
but I played it because my friends played it.
Of course, yeah.
And I was scared of Chuck E. Cheese, and so I was scared that Chuck E. Cheese would come into my room because it's kind of a similar idea. If we don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, we got to talk about that. It's basically Chuck E. Cheese. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria has some animatronics gone wild. There's a bunch of lore behind it. If you want to learn more about it, you can check out a bunch of different YouTube videos. They were just going to be talking about the movie. How about you? Did you play?
I did not as a kid, but I was always around the people that did. Some of my family members, my brothers, they always played it all the time. But Clemmy, I was too scared.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I got into it as I got older, and then I started playing
Yeah.
the games. I played FNAF VR.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitely.
I definitely always appreciated the fandom for sure, but it was never my thing.
Of course. Yeah, no. Then how we don't have some biggest of the FNAF fans out here, but is it just for the FNAF fans? What?
Honestly, I really enjoyed it. Besides not really getting a lot of the lore, and, it was never really my thing, but, being with my friends and watching it and, learning all of the plots from my friends was very nice. It was honestly a lot of fun to watch either way.
I think that here's my take on the whole, are you a fan versus you're not a fan, will you enjoy the movie? I think that it's more enjoyable if you are a fan, because like I said, I've been into Five Nights at Freddy, during my preteen years it was a big thing, so that was when I was really into the lore. I got a lot of the references that they made, a lot of the jokes that they made. I feel only more internet centered have been playing the game for a while, the super fans. I feel there were some tidbits in there for them, but I feel it's also a movie that you can enjoy if you've never played the games and aren't really into the history of FNAF.
Yeah, it's a good one. So in the movie, we follow this man named Mike Schmidt, who lost his brother at a young age and is taking care of his little sister. We see him get the job as security guard.
Yes, of course. And that's one of the very first scenes, is the one where he's at the desk with I forget the guy's name, the job guy.
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard. Yeah,
Matthew
he's
I don't
with
know.
Matthew Lillard.
Honestly, one of my favorite actors. I love to
He's
see
with
him in
Matthew
Yeah.
Lillard. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
him so much.
That
Oh
was
my
pretty
gosh.
Very,
fun.
very fitting for a scary movie.
And he was a
Oh,
big
yep.
he was a big highlight of this movie for me.
He
Matthew
was,
Lillard.
yeah.
I gotta tell
Yes.
you, he was good. He
Of
was good.
course. I mean, he kind of killed it. I mean,
He
that
did.
was awesome.
He did.
I have to say, through the beginning to like the end of the movie, at the beginning, I was just kind of like, it's
Yeah.
it's a little FNAF movie. It's fun, Towards the end, I actually really liked it. I
Yeah.
started to get into it.
Towards the end, we
I
were
did think
all-
it
Yeah.
had kind of like a slow approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I especially liked. There was a lot of cinematography that I really liked at
Yeah.
the end. A lot of really good. The movie was full of really good visuals. I feel
Yeah.
like, just like especially, and it stayed true. I feel like it stayed true to the games and everything, because like the colors were bright. Like it felt like Five Nights at Freddy's, just the way that it was shot.
Oh yeah.
Which I really liked, and they kind of stayed true to the game in that regard. I think so. I think that was cool.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked how like all like this is the first FNAF movie, and it kind of coincides with the first game, which was cool. So we kind of we saw all the images that you see in the first game, and maybe it did kind of set us up at the end for a second movie.
It did.
We won't get into that quite yet, but I mean, maybe it'll be more like the second game. We'll see some characters that we might have seen in the second game that we didn't see in the first one. So that's kind of fun.
I liked that. I thought that there was a lot of good. I liked the way that they did the characters, because I felt like I didn't really going into the movie. I was like, okay, what are they going to do with Vanessa? What are they going to
Yeah.
do with William Afton? I was like, what are they going to say about all these characters, and how are they going to be portrayed? But I like what the actors did with it. I have some gripes about. I have to say, this is my one kind of problem with this movie. I don't think it was the best writing. I
Yeah,
think that
I
think
agree.
that if we're talking about strengths and weaknesses, I think that the writing was one of the weaker points. Just
Yeah.
I felt like there was some dialogue that was very it didn't feel creative enough for the movie.
Yeah, it
'Cause,
didn't feel natural either.
we're talking my thing is we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. This is a franchise that's so beloved by so many people
And huge.
and huge. I feel like there's there's a really the bar is really high going in. I feel like making this movie. Or the bar was really high, because and also this has been an anticipated movie for years. I mean, I don't know the exact time frame, but years. This movie's been in production. But yeah, I think that going in there were a lot of the bar was really high, and I don't know if for me the writing really met the bar.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
I felt like
I agree.
the cinematography and everything else was fantastic, but the writing, I just felt like it didn't really draw me into the story.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
didn't.
agree. I wish it, and I know that it's kind of more of a meme, and I get that there were some parts that were pretty funny and fun to see, but I wish that it was a bit just better quality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't feel real. The writing and just some of the the dialogue, it just didn't feel very realistic to me, which I mean, I get it's FNAF.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. But I was hoping to be kind of more drawn into the
Yeah.
universe through
Yeah.
the dialogue and the writing, and I definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
100%. You
unfortunately.
kind of wanted to get that spooky vibe that you got when
Yeah.
you played the game as
Yeah.
a kid.
I will say for me, not being a big part of the fandom, I did not have any expectations going into it really. And I will say, like you said, some of the
The writing.
yes, some of the writing was a little bit off-putting,
A little bit cringe.
I don't know if that's one way to
I don't know if that's the right word.
No, I know
But,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of
That's
it
the
was
word I was
yeah,
looking
and
for.
some of the just the character interactions, there was Mike and Vanessa's relationship throughout the movie was so interesting to me.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's some of the dialogue between them just felt very not natural to me, and it didn't feel like things that they would actually say. It felt kind of corny and scripted, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. A lot
Yeah.
of the dialogue and a lot of the scenes, especially with those two,
Yeah.
felt very I don't know. They're also I didn't know there just wasn't a lot of dynamics. There wasn't big ups and downs in the dialogue. I felt like they were just kind of going over the same stuff and talking in the same tone every time they talked,
Right.
et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. I think that there was just some kind of downfalls there or areas for improvement, I guess you could say, that I think could have made the movie better. But
Yeah.
I will say, experience-wise, I mean, going down there with your friends, even if it's
Yes.
it's honestly, when I watched it, I was it's kind of just one of those and I don't want to say bad, but it's Because it's
very
definitely not.
campy.
Yeah, it's camp.
It's campy.
It's like something that you go see to, have a good time.
Have fun with your friends.
I would say go see it with other people for sure. It's the kind of movie that you won't enjoy by yourself.
But you will with friends.
For
and
sure.
going to see it for the first time as a viewing experience, like I think that everyone should see it at least once because it's a fun movie. I mean, a lot
you
of
gotta see it once.
the coloring, like the characters, like it is a fun movie, like in essence. I think that what is kind of off-putting to me, like as a fan, is that the movie is so fun and so like kind of like surface level, if you know what I mean, just with the dialogue and just like everything that kind of happens, it feels rather surface level. And then like the games are very scary and there's a lot of really dark like lore behind these characters and these plots in the games.
For sure.
And there's a lot, and then the movie just feels kind of like it barely even kind of skims the surface of going like into that deep dark,
Yeah.
which I think is good, especially if like for a younger audience, and I think there were some scenes that I loved and I thought were so cute, and you could kind of tell that they were catering to the younger.
Definitely.
But and also just kind of like attributing to, I mean, because Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it is a kid's thing, and I think, and they really did a good job of like showing that in the movie. They did a good job of making it feel very juvenile, and
I will say, like, with
it was very fun.
It was. My perception of FNAF, I fully expected it to be scary.
Exactly.
Like, I will say it was very compatible for a younger audience, which I thought was very cool.
Yeah, no, anyone can watch it. If you like have a little sibling, if you have kids, I mean, if
there is some blood, and there is some scary scenes which I like because it's kind of like it's kind of like
it's the perfect movie to watch with your younger siblings, but like you've got to be there. It's the perfect older sibling movie.
Older sibling movie.
Yes, I'm so excited to watch it with my siblings.
Oh yes, I mean it's a good like, how do I say this? It's just a good first scary movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
an entry level movie.
That's what I like.
It's good. There were a lot of bits of it that I wouldn't recommend to a younger audience, and there are a lot that I would. It was just a very teenager. Yeah, it's a very PG-13 movie, just in essence, like how I think it felt watching it.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that overall, just like if you're looking for something like deep and edgy, like FNAF lore, history lesson, blah blah blah, that's not what you're gonna get. Like you're gonna get
a good time.
You're gonna get a good time. You're gonna get a fun little journey, and I mean there are definitely some like darker parts of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean when we go later into our spoiler section, we'll elaborate on that more. But there are definitely some dark parts, but I think like the fun parts and like where they put it, it just makes it a very balanced kind of movie, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was super fun.
I felt like the plot was a little slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it kind of sped up, and then at the end, everything
Towards the end, you kind of had that, like, I feel like throughout the movie, I was hoping for, like, bang after bang after bang, but it was kind of just, kind of just low energy.
It was very low key, very
It kind of
solid.
felt like an escalator that doesn't really work all the way.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like stalling every now and then.
Yes.
It was like quiet for most of the movie, and like because like with most movies that you see, like I was expecting, like, since it's Five Nights at Freddy's and since the games are like jump scare after like really high adrenaline, I was expecting the movie to be like that, and I think I was a little bit internally like subconsciously let down because I wasn't getting that constant like adrenaline, getting jump scared. Like that wasn't what the movie was, and I think that while I like that and while I can appreciate that, I think that like the little kid inside of me who used to be really scared by FNAF is like, no.
I will say the cinematography really built up to like the climax, like the exciting part at the end. I will say like a lot of the scenes like set up for that kind of vibe, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was beautifully shot too. Like just like, and the set design, oh my God, the inside of Freddy,
I love that.
That was so cool to me. I loved the way that they did everything, like the whole arcade, like that whole setup. I thought that was awesome.
The set was amazing. I love also that like these new movies like Barbie and FNAF are like bringing like a bunch of people to the theater and are having kids dress up and all that.
Yeah.
And it's just really fun to see.
Yeah.
We are gonna start getting into our spoiler section, so that's pretty exciting. We're gonna start getting into it. So guys, let's talk about the cameos first.
Let's
Oh
talk
my
about cameos.
gosh.
Let's
We
talk
had
about
2 awesome people who we love seeing like throughout like in the gaming world. You see some YouTubers that you love who know all about FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy's, all that. We got Matt Pat
We got
Matt
Matt Pat.
and we got Corey Kenshin.
Corey
We got Corey
Kenshin.
Kenshin.
It was awesome.
I
It
feel
was
like
really cool. I knew about the Matt Pat cameo, but it was still awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't
that was
know about
kinda
it.
spoiled for me.
I
but
feel like
I didn't know about Corey though, so that was like that was
Yeah.
a big surprise, and it was a good one.
the characters they were given like really fit into the movie. When I first
Oh,
heard
yeah.
that, I
It was
heard that
definitely
Matt
them.
Pat was gonna be in it, and when I did, I was like, how? Like,
How?
but like I feel like they really did it really well with like Corey Kenshin being the Uber driver.
I also
Yeah.
thought that those were some of the funniest bits of the movie because it's
Oh,
like
for sure.
everyone just kind of like everyone
We
everyone
all
that gets the
jumped
cameo
up.
like
We
it's
all jumped
hilarious.
up.
all excited.
Also, just like Matt Pat, like well, that's what they say, but you know, it's just a theory. Like whatever he said to
Yeah.
the people who were at that was hilarious. That was and Corey's man. Why do I always get the weird ones?
Some
Like,
of the best writing of the
That was
Yeah.
some of the. I
Yeah.
feel like the highlights of the writing were the funny little cameo
For
bits because
sure.
like that was
For
amazing, and those
sure.
were like moments that everybody in the theater can appreciate. Like,
yeah, I mean, and especially like I mean, as a kid, I know that I love that type of YouTube and stuff, and I watch Matt Pat all the time. And I just feel like it was so nostalgic and so fun to like see him there. I would watch like old like YouTube videos of them, like he would do like a skit for Five Nights at Freddy's, and he would like play this character. And I just thought it was so cool that you're seeing him in like a movie on your screen. That's awesome.
I think it's like important too because he's such a big part of like I mean FNAF, like the whole like culture on like YouTube and everything with
sure.
FNAF. Like he's such a big part of all that. And I think like for all of the like I said earlier, the super fans who have been you know, playing these games for a million years and like we're so excited for this movie to come out. I think that's so special because so many of
Yeah.
them like associate him with FNAF and like that's just like a cool thing to see in a
It's great
movie
to
as
see,
someone who you like really like connect with like
Definitely.
over
Also,
that movie.
he has an amazing energy. I mean, like
He
you didn't
does.
know who
Like
he
it's
was,
Matt
you'd enjoy
Pat.
it
He's a great
anyway.
guy.
You'd be like, oh my gosh, it's Matt Pat.
for sure.
So it was great seeing that. I think we could get into like the ending. We could get into some thoughts on the characters. I mean,
Characters.
so I mean, we could talk about our first guy, Mike.
Mike.
Schmidt. if
I
that's
will
his name.
say,
I love Josh Hutcherson, so I'm a little biased. So I can't.
I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
He had his little sister. There was a lot. He was dealing with the loss of his little brother, and throughout the movie, he just kind of wants to find who did this. How can I get my little brother back? And you know, throughout it, you kind of see he kind of overlooks his little sister, who's right there. Which
That was
Yeah.
a big challenge for his character.
I will
Yeah.
say, I feel like the character building with these two characters was amazing. Like honestly,
The
I felt like I
relationship
really,
with him and his sister and
I-
the tension there.
I
was-
really enjoyed seeing their relationship, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's very
I also felt like
close to the heart. For
as
many
much as
people.
some of like the scripting and the writing was a bit, you know, not our thing, I did like kind of how they put together his character and being like, you know, he's just trying to hold it up for his little sister.
It was a
I thought it was
realistic,
really realistic,
yeah. And
yeah.
his acting. I mean, I also think that Josh Hutcherson is just a perfect choice. Like,
Yeah.
that was the perfect casting choice. Like, I can't see anyone else. Like, just like the way that he played this specific character, I just
For
think is
sure.
so very Josh Hutcherson and so amazing. And I think that it was perfect, and I would not have changed anything about it.
What's so
But-
amazing about like actors and stuff like that is like you see like this guy, he's gonna come play this. He's like, why is he in Five Nights at Freddy's? You know?
Yeah,
And
it's
then
like-
you see him there, and he takes it so seriously, and it's amazing.
And it's
And
a really
almost-
serious role for him.
It's a really
Like,
serious
that's-
role, and it's so awesome. And I
For
love that he
sure.
took it seriously, and
For
that it wasn't
sure.
just, you know, some FNAF meme.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's talk about, okay, next character that I'm like dying to talk about is Vanessa because
yes,
I love, like, I just love Vanessa as a character in the games. Like, of course, love her. But I was a little let down by her character in the movie. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I thought that she seemed very, and this is like obviously like no hate to the writer or the actors or anything. I thought it was just like
dry.
dry. Yes, that's the word.
There was,
It didn't
very surface level type character.
it felt like, you know, when like you're watching a piece of media, you're watching a film or you're playing a video game and you're like, man, this dialogue really feels scripted. That was all
Yes.
of them. I didn't feel like it was a real person talking or a character. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It
The
felt like
lines
scripted dialogue that
We're
was
definitely
written.
not given correctly.
I just
Yeah.
I don't like the, and her, also like the way that her and Mike interacted, like it was
So
bland.
awkward.
Like there wasn't a lot of emotion. There wasn't a
natural.
lot of. It was too natural for the situation that they were in and the things that were happening.
And I feel like Vanessa and Mike were meant to like build a relationship, and we were meant to see that relationship between
and it
them.
never really.
It never played.
Yeah, I mean, and you see it at the end. Like,
You see it at the end
you're
when they
kind of
were in the
meant to see
hospital,
that,
but it
like,
was
oh,
kind of
yeah, they're
awkward. I was like,
together. I felt like it was out of place. Like
It was
I felt
out of
like they
place. It
were trying
felt-
to add
yeah.
romance to the movie, and
it felt strange, like seeing that, like I mean, and especially the scene where he was like holding her hand in the hospital. I'm like, this
Yeah.
just feels weird, and it felt like a weird way to end.
It felt
the
like
movie.
Yeah.
everything with those two characters was like completely unnecessary, and I feel like the movie would have almost been better
if
that
they were just like
relationship
friends
wasn't
and
built.
like partners in crime or
Yeah,
whatever, it would have been so much
exactly.
better, and it would have been. I feel like the ending would have been so much more. I feel like because the movie was so light, like their relationship didn't have to be so like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
it almost didn't feel like a FNAF movie. Like the movie
Yeah.
was like, of course, like FNAF was the movie, but it just felt.
It didn't feel
out
that
of
connected
place.
to
Yeah.
FNAF. Yeah,
It
that
felt
was
just
kind of my
kinda like
general
its
take
own
on it.
movie.
And that, I mean, I feel like that's also expressed in like a lot of the dialogue. Like there was a lot of just like little bits where I'm like, this doesn't feel like FNAF. This doesn't feel like something that would be written about FNAF. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, it almost feels like they were trying to make the movie bigger than it was meant to be.
Yeah,
And it doesn't feel like it was written by a FNAF fan. That's my thing. Is there's like so much. I see so much like this whole entire concept and like the general like plot structure. Like I see so much potential for, and they just didn't like.
Yeah.
I was a little
Yeah.
disappointed.
a little bit, but let's talk about like the rise, like how it took
The
so long to
rising
get there.
action was, but the ending was very good.
The ending.
I loved the
The ending
ending.
was super
The
fun.
particular
all on the
shot
edge of our
where like
seats.
all of the animatronics were like freaking out, like William was in the Springtrap suit, like, and we'll get to Matthew Lillard in a second.
Oh, yes.
But like the scene where they were all freaking out, and then like they walked out of the building, and all the ceiling was coming down. I thought that was beautiful, and it was kind of just like. It felt like a good like closure sort
Yeah.
of like to
Those are sort of talking about that
Sort
last
of.
line.
I always
We
come back, but
love hearing that from Purple Guy.
of course.
We love hearing that. I always come back.
Yeah, and I
always
think
come back.
that I think that was just very, and also beautifully cinematically done, as is the rest of
For
the film.
sure.
But I thought the ending was probably my favorite part. It felt like closure, and it felt like kind of a good, like, just kind of tying everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
definitely.
And also leaving room, like there could be another one.
There
I would
could-
probably be okay if there wasn't.
Yeah.
I'd probably be, yeah, I'm not dying for another movie, but, like, I'd
This was
watch it.
enjoyable.
I'd
If
watch
there
it.
is
It
another
was
movie, I
enjoyable.
will be seeing
I
it.
will
We'll be watching it,
I wanna
and
see
we'll
that.
be talking about it, of
We will,
course.
course.
for sure.
Of course. It was a good time. It's just such a good movie to watch with your friends.
I think it's like you said earlier, it's the perfect, like, little sibling movie. I think it's
That
very...
is yeah, like Jenny said. Yeah.
It is definitely.
Anything? What else
I
do we
think
want to
that's-
talk about?
What else? Matthew Lillard,
Matthew
of
Lillard.
course. Beautiful performance.
Nailed it.
I thought it was very obvious in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's and just like, cause like, and like if you're a fan, like, okay, Matthew Lillard, William Afton, like, so like that whole like little shtick at the
Yeah.
beginning. But I think that even if you didn't know, like, didn't you say that like you didn't know?
I
that
didn't
it was-
know.
You didn't know, and you still like.
I
thought
figured
that
it out.
It was him.
Like
I
in
will
the
say-
middle of it, I think like it was like I don't even know what it was, but they were talking, I don't know. They said something and I was like, "Oh, it's him. It's him."
I am incredibly terrible at picking up on actors, and I've seen Matthew Lillard in Good Girls. We've seen him in Scream.
Oh, I love him.
and I was like,
Your
oh,
Halloween
wait, who
costume.
is this guy? Like, he is so familiar.
And we laughed a little bit. We were like, "Jenny."
And this has happened multiple times.
Because we were just watching Scream the other day, and Jenny was like, "Where do I know this guy?"
But, like, I feel like his character was played perfectly. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, I just think that him being in the scary FNAF movie and also being in Scream was very exciting for me.
I don't think he got enough screen time.
Definitely
Hot
not.
take. I don't think he got
Definitely
enough screen
not.
time. I thought that at the beginning, I really liked his performance. I liked the hours, the whatever.
Yeah.
The pay is bad, the hours are worse. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
funny bit. I thought that when he was like in the Springlock suit, I thought his acting was a little like it felt dramatic, like the way that he was like walking towards Mike. But I also really liked that scene because it was very cinematic. Like, okay, here's this big like the whole movie it was, oh, the yellow bunny, here he comes, just trotting on in like center stage.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool. But then he was talking about like killing his brother and everything. I liked his acting, like when the spring locks were like activating. I liked his acting there. It was very
really good.
That was gonna mention. I really loved that scene a lot.
That was a really good scene.
He's a brilliant actor.
And his delivery of the, what was it, I will come back line.
I always
come back. I feel like
back.
that delivery was definitely one of the best in the movie.
It was
besides Mad Pat and
of course, of course.
I mean, they delivered it so well because they were just playing themselves.
They were just playing themselves. They didn't have anything big to live up to. They did, but it's them. You know,
I mean, they've already lived up to it.
As long as they're there.
As long as they're there.
You did it.
Everyone's having a good time.
Yay!
He could just be sitting in the background.
Honestly, yeah, Mad Pat could literally just be sitting in the background and like I'd watch the movie. I'd buy a ticket. Like, I don't care.
And I mean, that really brings people in there. I mean,
because like everyone, I feel like going in, like everybody knew that there was going to be some cameos, like some inside jokes. Like that was just kind of like a given fact, like, you know, before like trailers even came out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember hearing that Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard were going to be in a movie together, and I was like, oh my god! I was so excited.
It's just that's the best part. I mean, the actors, the story.
I liked the scene with them too, like Mike and William. I thought that like the little job interview scene, and like that's obviously one of the scenes that's like, you know, like clips of it are circulating and everything. But like I just thought I just loved their little interaction, and I think that those two actors just had a good chemistry.
They did.
I'm very excited to possibly see them together in a second movie.
Yeah, possibly for the next one. What do we think is gonna be like the second one?
I don't really know what they would do, and like I'm not even gonna try and predict it honestly, because I feel like I don't know if we're gonna have the same characters or.
I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure if Mike will be in the next movie. I feel like it's going to be like a new security guard.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be like you said with the, like, maybe they're doing like FNAF 1, FNAF 2.
Yeah.
But we did have that scene where, what was the little girl's name?
Oh, that's true. Towards the end.
The little sister, she says, can we go back to see my friends? I'm sure they're lonely.
That's true. And then there's also, we've still got Vanessa we're worried about, who last time we saw her, she was in like a coma or something. Was she in a coma?
And apparently dating.
Or not book, movie.
Apparently dating?
Apparently they were like holding hands.
Yeah, well.
I guess there's something going on there.
I guess.
But
I don't know. That feels forced. I don't like it.
It feels so forced.
But I feel like I'm very confident that we will be seeing him again in the second movie.
Yeah, we probably will.
I think that even if the movie doesn't like revolve around him, if there is a second movie, like he's gonna be there.
Yeah,
he
will be the celebrity cameo.
Yeah, no, it's like you can't make FNAF movie without Mad Pat. Like you can't make FNAF 2 without Mike Schmidt.
Definitely.
Yes, we were talking about. Where's Markiplier?
Yeah, that's what I said. Where is Mark? I was expecting a Markiplier cameo and I didn't get one because he is. I mean, Markiplier was my introduction to FNAF. So that's what holds a special place in my heart. My
friend Ivy Burns, I think, was the one who got me into FNAF.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Love it.
We were like really into it.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I feel like it was a staple of being young in like the 2010s. And
now
everyone's like, and I've been seeing like, you know how like with the Barbie movie, like they posted those TikToks and it was like who's seeing the Barbie movie versus like who's watching it. Like, and people were doing that with FNAF too, and I was like, oh, that's so cute because it's like it's a little throwback to like a piece of your childhood, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that that's super cool.
It's super fun. I mean,
it's very nostalgic.
It's worth a watch. You go down there.
It's definitely worth a watch.
Enjoy it. It's amazing.
Especially for the celebrity cameos. If you
it's just a fun one to see with your friends. I mean, it's
so fun. It's fun ones to see with your family. It's like the type of, like, you don't go and watch scary movies with your family. I feel like that just doesn't happen.
I also feel like
I would say you can do that.
Even if you don't consider this movie scary, like, it's just not one you watch by yourself. Like, I feel like I just don't, like...
You just gotta enjoy it.
You just gotta enjoy it. It's an experience.
It's an experience. Like in some ways, it's more of, like, just like a funny movie.
Yeah.
You can laugh at it a bit.
There there are some bits that I laughed at a lot. Like when they like broke into the restaurant and like the guy, I didn't think it was funny that the guy was eating his face off, getting his face eaten off by the cupcake, but like when the way that he was like screaming and the other guy being like,
and like running away from it.
and like when they put the cupcake in the vent, like I thought that was a little that was funny. I'm like, oh, that's so mischievous.
Cupcake is an amazing character to have. It definitely provides a little bit of comedic relief in a time of
we love cheese
stress.
Yes.
All right, thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. If you guys want to go see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, you could watch it in theaters. You could also watch it on Peacock,
Which you definitely should.
You definitely should, because that's
With
how
your
we watched it.
Yes.
With our friends.
Super worth it. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.
See you next time.